God. But in any case, here what is affirmed is the eternality of Christ that would repudiate any attempt to reduce Jesus simply to a creature. That is what is in view is further confirmed by the additional affirmations that Christ is described in this affirmation as being co-eternal and co-essential with the Father and the Holy Spirit. Now this defines, in brief, the doctrine of the Trinity and calls us back to the great ecumenical councils of the early centuries, most specifically to the Council of Nicaea and to the Council of Chalcedon. And with particular reference to Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea, which gave us the Nicene Creed, was called because of the crisis the church faced in the early part of the 4th century with the heresy of a man by the name of Arius, who, along with his collaborators, had denied the Trinity and denied the deity of Christ, arguing that Christ was the first creature that God ever made, and that Christ then, or the Logos, then created the world. But even though he was the creator of the world, the Logos was himself a creature, and therefore had a beginning in time, and being a creature was certainly less than God. Now, Arius argued that this Logos was like God in some respects, and used the term that was a critical theological term of the day, that the Logos was homoi ousios, with God. The term homoi simply means like, and the word ousios is the participial form of the Greek verb to be, and can be translated being, or substance, or essence. And so Arius agreed that the Logos was like the Father in his being, in his essence, but he was not the same essence as the Father. That is, he did not participate in divine being. He was not God. Now, of course, the Orthodox parties of the church, those who held to the Trinity, condemned the theology of what's called Arianism in the 4th century and insisted upon the use of the term homoousios. And homoousios means the same essence or the same substance. And therefore, the Trinitarian formula of antiquity, and has been the Orthodox view of the Trinity ever since, is that the three persons of the Godhead are one in essence, though they are three in person. And so when the affirmation speaks of the divine word as being co-eternal and co-essential with the Father and the Holy Spirit, this is what is in view. And that the idea here is that a confession of the full deity of Jesus Christ is foundational and essential to gospel faith. That one cannot look to Christ in a salvific way and at the same time deny his person, to deny his deity, as the Arians did, and which denial has been maintained as well by Mormonism and by the Jehovah's Witnesses, who place Jesus at a central point of exaltation and concern in their religion, yet at the same time, following the Arian position, deny his co-eternality or co-essentiality with the Father. The Mormons, for example, agree with the so-called idea of the pre-existence of Christ, namely that he existed before the world began, but deny his eternality. There we see the point of contact with Arianism, that God first made Christ, and then Christ made the world, so that Christ exists before the world, but he has not always been. He still remains a creature, the most exalted creature. Well, you see, this created a problem not only for the church's theology, but also, chiefly, for the church's worship. Because Christianity grew out of historic Judaism, the New Testament does not repudiate the Old Testament, and the Old Testament clearly prohibited the worship of any creature. To worship a creature is the essence of idolatry.